Hello and welcome to another IoT Central webinar. I am Sophia Ansley. I would first like to thank floLIVE for being our sponsor. This webinar is titled The Cost of Delays: How JetBlue Uses IoT to Save Time and Money. Now, I would like to turn the webinar over to our host and speakers. Let's get started.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Silvia Presello, lead analyst at GSMA Intelligence, and today I'm pleased to moderate this webinar, The Cost of Delays: How JetBlue Uses IoT to Save Time and Money. Now, I would like to welcome our speakers, Curtis Govan, President of America at floLIVE, John Squilas, founder and CEO at Helix, Mohammed Nabi, IT Manager, Airport Operation Product at JetBlue Airways. Let's take a look to today's agenda. So I will start by providing a quick insights on IoT trends and benefit. Then I will hand over to Mohammed, who will walk you through JetBlue IoT experience and partnership with Helix. Let's take a look to IoT trends and benefits. So by 2030, IoT connection will reach around 39 billion globally. So IoT connection will reach 39 billions by 2030. Of those IoT connections, more than a half will be enterprises. Indeed, enterprise will reap many benefits from IoT deployment. Some of these benefits include revenue growth, improved security, enhanced business operation, cost reductions, and greater efficiencies. When we talk about IoT deployment, we should talk also about eSIM and connectivity. eSIM is the backbone of scalable IoT deployment. In our operator survey, we saw that eSIM demand is moving beyond automotive and mobility. The top three sectors that will demand eSIM-enabled solution will be media and entertainment, financial services, and public sector. Now, from me, it's all, and I would like to hand over to Mohammed.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. Hi, good morning, everyone. Mohammed Nabi here from JetBlue. Been with JetBlue for 9 years, all my life actually, ever since graduated from college. I been in the aviation industry, so it's altogether back just over 30 years now. The initial 25, 26 years were with British Airways out of London and then New York in the Americas. And then after that, I joined JetBlue. So yeah, I'm going to quickly talk about our international connectivity and partnering with Helix on how that has improved our, our operations globally. Next slide, please. So just to give you a quick background, JetBlue is only 25 years old. It's an airline that's 25 years old. It's New York's hometown airline, founded in New York, and has been growing and has grown exponentially over the last 25 years. It's a leading carrier out of Boston, Fort Lauderdale, Los Angeles, Orlando, and San Juan. These are our major focus cities, including JFK, obviously. And I just see that was missed out of the slide there. But anyway, we fly to over 100 different destinations throughout the United States, Latin America, the Caribbean, Canada, and now into Europe. So we're growing very well in Europe over the last 3-4 years. JetBlue flies to approximately 48, of those 100, about approximately 48 international destinations. And our primary, once we were primarily a domestic carrier and then just to the Caribbean, but over the years we've now grown over to Europe as well as other international cities in South America. The strategic growth offers us, the travelers, a wider range of destinations with the airline signature service. We have one of the best Mint class, which is a premium service that has won a lot of awards as well since we introduced it about 6 years ago. So that's a quick introduction on the airline. Over to the next slide, please. So how has JetBlue and Helix wireless partnership worked? So for my area, I look after the airport operation side. So that is the back of the house, all the products and systems that our airline uses to keep the operation running efficiently. So one of the biggest areas for my team and I is the baggage handling system. So throughout, I call it the baggage journey. The baggage journey, the moment the passenger drops the bag at the check-in counter or at the bag drop, to the moment that the passenger picks the bag up at the destination. Yeah. So the power of the baggage scan is across JetBlue's, JetBlue is expanding because of the global network. We originally, when we had our original scanners which we replaced just about 18 months ago, we had a lot of issues. We had issues with connectivity, we had issues with performance. And as you can imagine, that led to a lot of bags being left behind because they weren't being activated to get on the flight. That obviously had customer experience issues, and we incurred a lot of delays. So we looked into finding out what can we do, especially at our international stations, to improve that service. We reviewed a bunch of business partner suppliers, and Helix came through. They had a very good, strong presence with the partnership they have with other players, and their portfolio of 700 networks carriers globally in over 190 countries was what led us to sign up with them. This really ensured our scanning devices can maintain connectivity anywhere in the world that we're flying. And we are growing, like I said, on the international market. So we were looking at our strategic view of who we're going to partner with. Yeah, so basically with the partnership with Helix, we're using smart SIMs in our baggage scanners, as you can see from that picture. And the beauty of that is that at the international cities, these eSIMs find the strongest signal from whatever the partnership they have with the company, and that seamlessly connects. And therefore, there is no disruption in our scanning of the bags onto the plane. And like I said, our baggage journey is, we scan at 4 different areas. We scan at the bag drop. We scan at the moment the bag arrives in the bag room. The moment it boards the plane, and then obviously the moment it's taken off the plane and put on the carousel. So in addition, we've also used the Helix scanning SIM cards in our aircraft. That has been a great success as well. So that monitors the health of our aircraft, and as soon as the plane lands, the data from the aircraft is using the eSIMs from Helix goes to our servers, and then we use that data to look at how we can better manage, maintain, and keep the plane running smoothly. We are looking at expanding our partnership with Helix with our tech ops teams on iPad deployment, and also at our airport teams for the new shared iPad strategy that we are working on. So that's where our partnership goes. Next, please. Yeah. So why did we also choose Helix? I think the biggest benefit was the support. The support from them was excellent. We had a few issues. We discussed the issues with them. They understood our problem. They took it away, understood our problem, and that really helped for them and us to get a solution in place. Their support is available 24/7. Where we've had issues at one of our international cities, their team has been available to us throughout to help diagnose issues, find a solution for it, and very minimum disruption to our operation there. And the dashboards that they provided, because data is key to us now. We have access to the data that they capture for us, and the dashboards that we get from them. It really helps us to understand, what areas of improvements that we can make. Just a quick example down there, JetBlue initiated the rollout of the new scanners devices across the multiple international locations. During deployment, it became apparent that in certain regions, specifically Puerto Rico and Mexico, the previous SIM card provider were not delivering expected level of reliability. So that's what the issues we were having, yeah? This is one of the reasons why we transitioned over to Helix eSIMs. which resulted in immediate and substantial improvement in both connectivity and overall device performance. We are using the latest state-of-the-art handheld scanners from a company called Zebra, and they are 5G compatible. So we are getting, where there is 5G available, we are using 5G. We are still having a few issues at smaller stations in South America, but those are being addressed very well. Helix is being a very good partner with their partnership with floLIVE, is really helping us bring in efficiencies and optimization to give our customers a good experience. Thank you very much. Next slide. I think that's the last one for me. Yeah.
Thanks, Mo. We can go to the next one real quick. Hello, everyone. John Scolacci, the CEO and founder of Helix Wireless. We provide IoT on a global scale as well as mobility in the United States. Our focus, you could just go to the next slide, actually, please. Our focus is really on what the solution is, right? So a lot of times, I think some folks can get kind of caught up in just the connectivity piece or just kind of the device piece, right? Where we flex our muscle and our partnership. And this is really about how our organization is designed, right? Is with the solution in mind, right? So it's intelligent, repeatable connectivity, right? We have our platform, which also has outward-facing APIs for businesses to integrate with, so we don't force you to use, our dashboards. If you have your own dashboards, those sorts of things, we can feed them with information, and providing a large swath of connectivity options. In some of the places that Mohammed mentioned, there's not a lot of options. So sometimes 2 options are the most you have, and having access to both of them becomes really important to having a successful deployment. So our organization is really built to grow. I do wish time like that to present before me. She said a lot of really nice things, so I do appreciate that too. But we really look at the ability to take the complex rollout, the complex solution, and try to take as much of the complexity out so that our partners can focus on the thing that is most important to them, which generally is not the connectivity, right? It's the thing that they're trying to do. In the case of JetBlue, it's connecting the planes when the planes are landing. It's connecting the scanners at 4 different locations throughout the airport and ensuring they can actually, do the job that person is supposed to do without having to go to a different area to then scan something in and come back in, which obviously would be, counterproductive. So that's a little bit about Helix and a little bit about the partnership too. You can go to the next slide, please. So what do we have, right? What does Helix Wireless have? We have an enablement suite. Right? So our job is in providing options, providing a way to use those options for the good of your solution, right? Whether it's Solo, which is our homegrown platform, whether it's access to multi-carriers, whether it's eSIM, or even a physical SIM, right? Understanding the deployment, and the full life cycle of that deployment is a really important piece of what we do. Is we like to really get close and deep with our customers and understand, hey, what kind of device are you using, and what are you going to do with that device, and why do you do that? And I think it's a little bit difficult sometimes when you're grilling, a partner kind of up front, going, tell me more about what you're doing. But the reason for that we ask those questions is so that we have a better understanding, specifically when we're doing our solutioning, to make sure that we are testing some of those fringe use cases if we have the ability to do that. That enables us to better support our customers, which, as you heard, Mo speak about, it's incredible when someone can reach out and say, hey, we're having this issue, and we've seen it already because we've tested it pretty robustly, and we can kind of immediately respond with what the next best step should be, as opposed to trying to figure it out, as we go. So why does that matter? Faster to market, reducing your OpEx spending, better end-to-end support, real flexibility, right? And then the ability to scale with our customers, as needed. You go to the next slide, please, Sylvia. Okay, so a little bit more kind of about the connectivity, right? So we talked about the open APIs, right? But I think the thing that's most important on this slide really is the customize, right? The ability to customize what the solution may be. You may not need 1 meg. You may not need 250 million terabits, right? We don't know what you need, right? So, but being able to kind of fit into what the request is, if it's a giga device or 700 megs a device, being able to kind of build that with our clients, doing cross-country pooling, if that's something that you require, all different sorts of kind of billing functions that aren't really connected to the actual connectivity of the device. It's really kind of the more of the how, right, versus the why or the what, right? And that's where our platform and our ability to be flexible really kind of shines, right? So why does that matter? Super simple, right? It's one place to go, all of your connectivity. We have redundancy in the carriers in most places that we go, almost everywhere. And then we also try not to require, large commitments. Obviously, if you need to, get some super crazy rate, that's a different kind of story. But, at the highest level, what we really want to do is say, how can we work with you? What is the thing that you need? Can we help you get there? And we'll worry about the commercial conversations later, right? So obviously, it is always important to get there, but we really focus on the solution first. And then our integration, right? Many companies have integrated with us with our outward-facing APIs, and generally the integration time is less than 10 days, right? So we really have a simple, kind of SDK and a lot of support around that to enable our customers to really hit the ground running. Go to the next one, so yeah. And then we get to the platform, right? So, we have carrier agnostic, we have device agnostic. So we have multiple different options in our platform, different products that our customers can choose from, and really providing the best in class, types of connectivity and really supporting those, with our customers. So we try to really allow our customers to choose what services they need, what countries they want to work with. How does that look? How does that feel? And allow them to kind of design their journey in a little bit of the way there, which I think is a lot different than how some folks kind of operate in the space. Single pane of control. It's that platform. It's those endpoints, right? It's one place to go for everything. We have our dashboard includes mobility, which is like smartphones, basic phones, as well as IoT. One place to go for everything. You don't have to have 15 different logins for 15 different carriers, and we really do kind of simplify kind of that journey up to and including even the ability to see your bill and view that in the platform as well. So you don't have to go here and there. We're not emailing all this other kind of information out to you, right? It's that single place to go for literally everything that we do, and it's incredible. So. With that, I will hand it over to Curtis.
Excellent. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
You said it was after Mohammed. It's good to go after two of you because you pretty much said it all, and I can just maybe emphasize a few things that are really important to floLIVE and what we do. You can go to the next slide, Sylvia. Really, I say the fundamental here, if you look at the first line, is that floLIVE builds and operates the world's largest global cellular infrastructure for connectivity. But I'll say, kind of, John mentioned the point that I absolutely love. We do it solely for the intent of making connectivity tertiary, if not transparent, to customers like Mohammed, right, and JetBlue. And these are the fundamental problems that we think are important, that you probably heard this. You heard this from Mohammed. You heard it reiterated with John there. It's really about providing a solution that really gives them the coverage they need, the high availability from a network perspective, the performance, and the security and the support. Mohammed mentioned this at the beginning. I actually took the support slide out from this, but it's really important. Ultimately, we will all have problems. We know that, and how we support those problems is really key to the business continuity. And the ultimate thing is the experience that we're giving the end customer there in the business operations for Mohammed in this case. floLIVE is very much a technology company there. 70% of our team is R&D. So we're heavily focused on developing technology, and you'll see how that flows throughout. And we have global reach with operations in Europe, operations in Asia as well, and I'm responsible for the Americas. You can go to the next slide. What really makes us unique in the offering, in the offerings that we have in the market, is really that top piece there is the full stack ownership. As a company, we own our core network infrastructure. This is built by floLIVE engineers, and I say we're not buying it from someone else. Many times people don't get that paradigm shift of like, we actually own this piece there. It's all floLIVE technology that we build and deploy, manage and operate by floLIVE team members there. This is really key for us there. And then we've taken that core network infrastructure and we've built the largest cellular network in the world of IoT. Particularly when you look at beyond single geographies there. Mobile operators in some countries have massive infrastructure there. Outside of their properties, they don't. We have the largest outside around the world global infrastructure deployed. And we've also taken that infrastructure and integrated it with very strategic mobile network operators that are tier one providers of connectivity services, both regionally, globally, and in specific countries there. Next slide, please. We have a host of services. Because we own technology, we build technology for many of our partners there. We are very much an MV&E from the perspective as we're talking to our friends Helix here, but we also work directly with MNOs. I'm getting all the notices to let everybody in the lobby, so sorry about the noise there. But we have an array of solutions that we provide. If you look over, starting if we go this way on the globe there, our multi-MZ SIM technology, skipping and our consumer eSIM technology, our regular technology that we have for SGP32 and SGP02 legacy there. We have an MVNE platform that we provide to both MVNOs and MNOs. We have our global connectivity that we're talking about here. We also offer core network as a service there, and we offer our connectivity management platform as well. All of these services are cloud native, so we have multiple services all consumed in the same manner, so we're very flexible in how we consume it. We can white label everything we have, and then, much like our friends at Helix have, we have a very robust set of APIs that Helix uses to build into their solo platform, which makes it really seamless for customers like Helix to bring everything into that one single pane of glass for their customers. Next slide, please. From a coverage perspective, I mentioned this earlier there, but really we're very much focused on taking multiple relationships and providing the absolute best coverage that you can find in the market, because we can do it all on a single SIM, which is really the heart of the solution there, and have multiple networks in multiple countries all connected into the same backend infrastructure there. So part of the story that John is telling is all connected into one infrastructure with one SIM. We're providing him that one cloud platform so he can pull all of the data and information into his system there with the single API all over the world, which makes it very seamless from a operational efficiency perspective and the ability to scale and expand beyond markets. Many of our customers are like you heard the JetBlue story. They've expanded their geographies. As they expand, it's really already there for them to easily expand into new geographies there. All again with the heart of that being the multi-MZ technology, which on the next slide, if we go to that, will really speak to the point I was making earlier about service availability. So literally in every country in the world, we have access to our multi-MZ technology there to provide not just a single carrier, but multiple carriers in each country. So we have the best coverage component, but it also plays into the availability of the service as well. This is showing our example in the US where we have put this exact solution together for one of our customers where it's redundancy on top of redundancy on top of redundancy. Some may say it's too much, but when you have a failure of one, then it automatically moves to the next available network if it's in the single MZ or the next available MZ. So we have that redundancy built in. And literally, I remember a situation that happened 24 I landed, I was out of service because I had the carrier that was having a national outage. And when I got home, I connected, and all of my customers were asking, "Do we have an outage?" And we said, "No, we don't have an outage because they have gone through this process of automatically switching just to a service that was available because that national outage was impacting everyone." So this is really the height of what we think is not only we have the coverage, the service availability component is a really key thing for us in our service there. Next slide, please. I mentioned the SIM is really the heart of it. The other thing that's coming into play now is just the ability to expand beyond just a single SIM and put multiple SIMs into a single physical SIM, if you will. And that is coming in the form of the new EUICC SIM version. I'll say now in SGP32, the latest version of the standard. We've seen this somewhat in the legacy of SGP02, but our adoption rate on SGP02 was really small. And SGP22 was primarily a single EUICC profile. But we're now seeing that customers are looking at this expanded piece of now I can say, I don't need to have dual SIMs. I can have a single SIM. I can put multiple EUICC profiles in it. I can have additional bespoke integrations with operators because I have something special going there, or I have the insurance policy of if I ever needed to switch, I have that built in. And again, that's all of the floLIVE technology from a multi-IMSI perspective built into this combined solution with the EUICC. In this case, as I said, we're more than likely, I think our deployments coming up in the latter half of the year, beginning of next year, will primarily be with SGP32. Next slide, please. And this is last is kind of brings to close kind of the availability component and then the performance piece that's really critical. More and more, we're seeing applications that are demanding higher performance in different markets, whether it's latency or throughput. By the way, latency piece for our asset tracking friends that have battery powered devices there, they're seeing this significant difference when we can put local PGWs in a particular country to reduce latency by 300 milliseconds down to sub 100 milliseconds. That 250 millisecond improvement greatly impacts their battery life of their devices. So we're seeing those kind of applications. And then it's also the case where we can solve the problem of data sovereignty like we have with GDPR in Europe. In other places, we have something very similar. So our ability to expand the network in a relatively short amount of time, if you look at what telecom traditionally can do, literally within 9 weeks, we can set up a completely new PGW, have local routing to meet the business need or the data sovereignty need that you may have in a particular area. So that's a bit of floLIVE, and I look forward to the questions that are coming next. Again, thank you everyone for joining. Look forward to your questions.
Thank you very much for the presentation, and let's move to the Q&A session. Okay. So how did this partnership started? Question for all.
Yeah, so I guess I'll go first there. And we'll probably I have two partnerships to explain, so that makes the most sense. Helix was founded in 2019, with a vision to simplify telecommunications, and as part of that is in adding, partners, right, so that you could do more. And I believe it was late 2020, mid 21, where we had met floLIVE. I think it was on LinkedIn, and we started having conversations. And by 22, we were partnering with them to understand their technology and understand kind of how to proliferate that and the benefits of it, and kind of really understanding, that's the solution as a whole before we can kind of productize it. Almost the same timing, really, we started working with JetBlue, and that was through kind of a request from a large carrier that we also have a relationship with, and they said, hey, we might need some help here. We've been trying to solve this problem for some time, and we can't really get to it in a country called Guyana in South America. So we met with some folks from the JetBlue side, and they explained the issue they were having, and we felt confident that the floLIVE solution was the one that would fix it. So we deployed the technology, and it worked, which is great, obviously. But then most importantly is the conversations around, like, what else, like, once you slay the dragon, what else can you do, right? And then that was really where the JetBlue team and Mohammed have partnered with us and say, hey, listen, we appreciate you fixing this one very specific, very local thing. But we also would like to look at this solution here, and then maybe over here, and then it's in planes, and then it's in scanners, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you kind of, proliferate that way. So I don't know if that fully answers your question there, but I'd be happy for the guys to kind of weigh in on that too.
Yeah, from the JetBlue perspective, I think just like what John said, we worked with them in around about 2021, 22 on that issue in South America, and then the team also realized that this was going to help our aircraft, because we have Airbus. Our fleet is all Airbuses, and our aircraft data strategy team decided that we need to capture the logs of the aircraft and download them as soon as the plane lands. Historically, it was a very manual, tedious task, having to do it manually. So when somebody from our engineering team would go on the plane and then plug his laptop in to download the data, we wanted instant results, because data is very important, and to look at trends and see wherever we can do with that to improve on the performance of the aircraft, reduce costs on maintenance, reduce fueling, fuel costs, and anything to do with cost savings. And at the end of the day, if you have a reliable service, reliable aircraft, you got fantastic, you got an improved customer experience for our customers. So that's where we, where Helix came in, and like John said, one of our providers reached out, said, maybe they have a solution, because they work with floLIVE and have provide service from a bunch of other providers globally. We trialed it with the data strategy on the aircraft. Worked, they helped us get it right. It worked beautifully. And then as time went by, we had other projects, other initiatives, other areas that we wanted to do something similar and improve the performance of our equipment and our procedures. And that's where we discussed with John and his team, and they were very helpful, listening to what we were asking, and they were looking to find the right solutions. And that's where the baggage journey partnership came into it. And then obviously then we also have our the other one is we're reducing our real estate at some of the airports, therefore we don't have to have baggage services offices, and we were now moving that to more of a portable, with giving our crew members their iPads, and that's again where we needed smart technology connectivity, where they could use different providers at that station to connect and provide a similar service when they're logging any baggage concerns from the customer. So that's how we all came about.
Yeah, I would say, this our collective story is a story of people that are in the industry that really understand the problems, both from Mohammed at JetBlue and what they're experiencing. John and Francis Gallick, his co-founder at Helix. When we were first talking to them, Bill Works, our SVP of sales, and Bill is Mr. Persistent. And it's not from I gotta sell you something, it's that I've got to fix your problem. And we knew John and Fran were starting a new business in IoT. They have tremendous experience in the IoT space for it, so they know the problems. And really, it was a matter of getting to this paradigm shift that we were bringing to the market of like, we own this technology. It's different and it solves these problems. And once we got to that point where they understood that we were solving the problem differently and we were solving the problem better than what was available in the industry, like that is ultimately what led to the relationship with Helix. And then likewise, Helix knew that all of the people like JetBlue had these other problems and they were going to be able to go and solve the problem for them. So I've said this before, but you know, the people in the industry that have been around a while, that maybe have a few gray hairs or no hair, they know the problems, and I think when we can get to them collectively as Helix and floLIVE and help them understand that we can actually solve that problem that you've just accepted in the past, we can actually solve it and solve it very efficiently.
What does it look like, the future of digital transformation at JetBlue, Mohammed?
Oh, that's a very tough question. Yeah, not tough, but it's a big question. I'll try to keep it short to a couple of minutes. Now, we are very big. JetBlue is very innovative. JetBlue is very forward-looking airline. I mean, I've come from like I said, I have over 30 years of experience in the aviation industry. So I've come from a legacy airline, you know, an airline that's very, you know, global airline, to a very young airline, 25 years old, JetBlue. So I've seen the difference between the two airlines, and JetBlue is very forward thinking. It's very data oriented. And the digital, there are a lot of examples, but I'm going to focus on one or two maybe during this discussion. We are becoming the most data-driven airline in the world. We are very heavily focused on integration of data, looking at all the different systems and see how we can use the data, not only for the operational side, but the commercial side, and also the supporting of the aviation side of it as well. And what will that give us once we have the right solutions in place from this data transformation is the customer. The most important thing is the customer experience. Our customers will have the state-of-the-art technology. If you look at JetBlue's app, you know, the app for their on their devices, it is really, you know, it's I don't work on it, so that's I'm not getting any credit for it, but the team that does, they've done amazing. We just partnered with them internally, added the baggage functionality as well. So then now a passenger can track their bag. So what floLIVE and Helix have done in the background for us, that is translated into the app as well. So if the customer wants to see, we used to send emails, which we still do. Your bag has made the plane, or we've received your bag has made the plane, your bag is now off the plane, you can claim at Carousel 6. They can see all that now on the app as well, right? So that's a great partnership and a great innovation that the teams have done collectively. On top of that, operation. I'm from the operational side. I gotta make sure the operation runs efficiently with the technology that we have. So we use the right tools. We make sure. So that's where Helix and floLIVE came in with the eSIM technology for our scanners, because baggage is, I mean, it's not just about getting the passenger to the destination. It's getting their bags. And as you know, the technology, the bags, passengers are really worried about losing their bags, because aviation or airlines are always losing bags or leaving bags behind, but the passenger makes it. But we've focused on that, and our percentage of baggage loss or leaving a bag behind is less than 1%. Right now, so which is really good for our airline. Others are, the aircraft, like what I mentioned earlier, the aircraft data and keeping the aircraft running smoothly, looking at issues that we may have or may come across. So being proactively doing preventative maintenance on aircraft and stuff like that. So on top of that, we have some of the other initiatives that my team are working on under my portfolio, is that we're viewing how aircraft turns occur. So we're using a lot of AI and data technology on that. So when the aircraft comes into the gate, everything is being monitored. Any of the support teams that are there, we look at which team is not running efficiently, what may cause us a delay. So we're trying to avoid those delays of happening. Get the plane ready, get it ready. And if the departure time says 11 o'clock, we want to be ready at least 5 minutes before to push back and then take off. What's in our control, we make sure we're on top of it, and that is that one. Another one that we're really looking at right now is our using digital transformation technology for our fueling of our aircraft. Believe it or not, we were like most of the other airlines, a lot of it was manual. You know, just like at the fuel pump, you go and you pump your car, you pump your plane, you get a little receipt saying, okay, we've put in 20,000 gallons of fuel. All right. Now everything is being digitized. So we're working on that as well. And now everything, so we don't get the paper slips of the fuel now. We are working with a company out of Texas that we are going to get these digitally. It'll be on the cloud. We get the alerts. Our operations team gets alerts. The pilots get the notification all instantly, and then that data is stored, and we are able to use the data from there to manipulate and look at how we can improve our refueling process. Right now, actually, this week, we just tried doing a new trial of on safety for our ground equipment. That's basically where our tugs, our trucks that we use for baggage, tugs to move the plane back and forth, to the gate. Anything that's moving in around the plane, we are putting all these IoT devices. We're working with another provider that just started a few years ago, and trialing that out. So that will be a really a good one to save money on damages to those devices, efficiencies on making sure everything is nicely kept safe, safety wise, and efficiency wise, basically, obviously, is that everything is on time and get the planes ready. One more I'm going to talk about is the Apple. We've just partnered with Apple, and we just made the announcement on Monday. I don't know if anyone heard about it, but we now are integrating Apple AirTags in locating a passenger's bag. So if a passenger loses their bag or misplaces their bag, they are able to share their Apple AirTag location. When they file the report with JetBlue, we are then able to help locate it. In the old days, before we had that, passengers said, look, it's here in the terminal. It's there. Look, can you see it? But we can't do anything about it because we don't know where it is. But with this partnership, we can look at it. So there's a whole loads of other technology, but those are the key ones I wanted to bring up in this call. Is that okay?
Very interesting initiatives. Thanks, Mohammed.
Thank you.
Curtis, what are the drivers behind the increasing importance of technology in enterprise strategy today, and how do you envision the future of floLIVE?
Yeah, I would say, like we're seeing very much like Mohammed said, is like what the fundamental solution suite, I would call it. I'd put the umbrella and say it's business efficiency. Is really the crux of IoT. And we're seeing these type of efficiencies across many industries, where it's in industry, it's in the airline industry, if it's security, home automation, automotive tracking there. So we're seeing these technology, the IoT technologies getting deployed more broadly. And I think part of that is because the availability of the service, the performance of the service has increased tremendously, based on solutions that floLIVE and others have deployed now. I would say, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So we're not the only ones in the game today. We're still the best. But we have some good friends that are imitating us nicely. But because of that, like we're seeing this proliferation of new technologies that are coming out. A lot of it is around getting this data that was always available, but getting it in real time, getting it more efficiently. And then the next phase of it is applying AI ML models to that data and transferring that to some sort of business outcomes. So from a floLIVE perspective, technology-wise, the key things for us is performance of the network is absolutely critical and expanding more and more. We're seeing a lot of demand for localization of the data connectivity there with our remote PGW as a service, our local breakout. There, we're seeing that come from our mobile network operator friends. We're seeing it come from MNO friends. And then we're seeing this hybrid, what I call the enterprise MVNO, that they really need everything an MVNO needs, but they really just need it for their business. And so we're building these same components that we would build for a mobile network operator. We're building it for large enterprises that have seven-figure deployment projections in the near future. So that one, SGP32, mentioned this earlier. We're seeing this new technology getting adopted much more rapidly than we would typically see new technology. I've been around long enough to remember when we're in standard bodies meetings and having conversations about SGP02, and the adoption of that was very limited to this date. Conversely, we're seeing SGP32, it is in the plans. People are developing devices, they're getting SIMs, they're ready for those deployments. So that's the other technology that is at the forefront. The last one I'll mention is non-terrestrial networks, release 17 there. We have some early deployments with that. We have people that are finishing devices. Again, it's the same story. I think it's an interesting thing, and I think it's very complementary of what's happening in the standard bodies from an IoT perspective. Previous technologies, I think, just had IoT as an afterthought. And now these technologies like NTN, like SGP32, are very much IoT focused. So we're seeing the adoption quicker, which means they did the right thing in developing the standards for the demand of the market. So that NTN piece is the next one there, because coverage is king. And it is one of the key things that helps us close the gap in terms of lack of cellular coverage, providing that satellite coverage.
Thank you, Curtis. Mohammed, what has JetBlue benefit the most from IoT implementation, and what advice would you give to enterprise looking to deploy IoT?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is the benefits that we received have been the predictive maintenance on the aircraft. I mean, I'll talk about that because that has been a big benefit for JetBlue, and that is with the solution that Helix provided with the help of floLIVE on aircraft, because the aircraft are not stationary. If they're kept stationary on, then you're not making money. They have to be in the air. They have to fly the passengers. So with that predictive maintenance and the technology behind it, to predict or preemptively repair any issues that may occur, and the alerts that we get, that has been a big benefit on that as well. So that, not only that, plus improves the safety of the aircraft and the passengers on board, and the operation as well. Long term, it reduces costs because you're